I was telling Devika and Priyanshi are not here, but we run. My wife works with me, so last year we did the IBLF, we did it in multiple. The India Business Lit Festival, we did India's largest business literature festival in the opening season at the Rossiet House in Hero City. We called it the Delhi edition. Mr. Vivek Vibroy, Mr. Charan Das, I can go on. We were there, 30 such offers, and Karan Bajaj's book was launched there. Then we did the Gurgaon chapter. Sri Gaur Gopal Das was unveiled there. Then we did the Pune chapter where the founder of was 88 when he launched it. It's almost 289. So really, I'm glad we'll call you to IBLF. IBLF in Ahmedabad in December at the Marriott. Sure. I don't know the date, but yes. One thing when I go to Ahmedabad, we go to Kalorex. Yes.
Thank you very much. Guru Namaha. Nice feeling to be back in Delhi to talk about this book. A beautiful book. We'll be coming to that very soon. But before we go to this book, you see the AI avatar of Dr. Shroff. How many of you understand it's an AI avatar? That was not Dr. Shroff. It was a clone in the AI form. Now, it is a very interesting story. When this stuff was being designed, one fine day we were kind of doing someplace, I think in Hyderabad or someplace. She simply mentioned, I'm going to do a clone of my own self. I said, okay, that's okay. Then about 2 weeks later, we had a huddle in one of our flagship schools. So she said, just make an announcement, I'd like to speak to the leadership team. I said, what time? So 3:30. So 3:30, I announced that please be around for a leadership talk with Dr. Shroff. So 3:25, her secretary gives me a call and tells me, just say that she's not feeling well, so she cannot do it. Fine, ये क्या हो क्या रहा है मतलब ऐसा तो कभी इतने सालों में 10 सालों में इनके साथ में she's very particular what I mean or what's happening. So मुझे लगा कुछ ना कुछ something is coming up. I knew that something is coming up. And then 3:30, the taxi जैसे पिक्चर में डार्क हो जाता है, वैसे डार्क हो गया and then a video plays and there is a one lady coming up like something like Dr. Shroff and it's all going here there and कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा हो क्या रहा है. This is not Dr. Shroff. She doesn't talk like this. How she talk like this? What's happened to her? Then suddenly that lady says, I'm not Shroff, I'm the AI clone of Shroff. I said, wow, what is this happening? Then I recollected, oh my goodness, I shouldn't have taken us so lightly in that airport or something. And this, I would have contributed. Then later I got to know, since I also handle HR in the company, I kind of tried to think, that put the two and two together. 2 interns from Gandhinagar IIT were called, and Dr. Shroff, and a couple of guys from my team on my team, that's it. I mean, चंद्रयान में जाना एक बहुत बड़ा काम है हमारे लिए, पूरे वर्ल्ड के लिए बहुत बड़ा काम है. But look at how easily things happen. So this country can do far better. Like somebody said just about 2 minutes back, Suraj is the next, I should say, destination, and we all will contribute towards that. One contribution towards that is this book, a fantastic book, right? So, Dr. Shroff, first question to you. AI and parenting are very different planets, right? How did you blend them together, right? And what is the purpose of this AI and in education and then this book? How did it come together?
First, thank you so much for this opportunity of talking about the book here. It's exciting. You saw the AI clone. All of you who haven't heard me speak, have seen me in person, would have believed that is me. My leadership team, for 30 seconds, believed it was me, and that was our asset test. With that AI clone, we want to achieve 2 things. Innovation and research no longer belongs only to industry. It always belonged to knowledge people, such as schools and colleges. Somewhere along the way, we lost that and it went away to industry. I hope with this very small experiment, we're trying to reclaim that space called research. Education institutions are the front runners of research. And like another Krishnan said, it was not easy. We didn't have the capabilities. We just had the will. And it was like a summer program and we came up with an AI. Linking that to parenting, linking that to the fact that our children are going to rub shoulders with those clones. We as faculty members in the next 10 years are going to be competing with those clones. And let me in no uncertain term tell you, anything that is iterative, anything that is pattern recognition, the AI will do heads and shoulder above us. Therefore, what is our real role? The real role, as Maya said, is innate intelligence of human beings. AI can acquire all kinds of intelligences except innate, which is already within us. If we as parents and teachers do not tap into that innate potential that each and every child has, I think our job as educators and parents is really missing. This book starts at the womb. We are using the ancient knowledge system story of the warrior Arjuna, where he's talking to his wife Subhadra, and the very famous fable of Abhimanyu hearing the military formation of Chakravyuh. All of you who've heard the fable know that Abhimanyu heard about it from the womb and was able to enter the Chakravyuh. The legend goes on to say that unfortunately he fell asleep when Arjuna was explaining how to extract himself from the military formation, and he died fighting. So children are listening to us from the womb. Question is, are we talking?
Fantastic. I take the next question to Ms. Renu Kaul. Ms. Renu Kaul happens to be the publisher of this beautiful book, also the founder of a nice and beautiful company called Vitasta Publishing Private Limited, and she's also the MD of the company. You have done fantastic books. Your lineage of books, I was zapped when I came into your office to have a look at those books. Book on Kashmir. You should just see the genre, right? Book on Kashmir, book on women empowerment, book on Modi ji, right? Book on Ramana Maharishi, so on and so forth. Such a varied collection. Why did you, Renuji, particularly choose? And of course, you have also written about Dr. Shroff in terms of her life story. Why did you choose to publish this particular book? What made you actually decide to publish this book?
I have known Manjula for more than a year now. Last year we did a book on her. This was written by somebody else, Amrita Rajpal. And I visited her place in Ahmedabad, and she started, Ananta also took me around the school, and I knew that she was something, and she had a vision, and she was doing so much in the field of education. And she also talked about, during COVID, she would have regular interaction sessions with parents. So this book is an outcome of those, online sessions that she had with a set of parents. So, while she had already begun writing this book, and she did show me a couple of chapters, and I immediately thought that this was something being written for me, because I have two boys, and I felt that whatever challenges were there, that was being discussed among themselves, with the parents, I was also facing the same problem. So I thought that, since we have become global now, the challenges are just the same, whether it is in India or in the West. And these conversations, there was a need for this kind of a book, because I have felt, howsoever loving you may be, but your child always has that conflict with you. And this I think has been there for generations. Even I used to have that conflict with my parents. I always used to feel that they don't understand me. And the same is the case with these children. The challenges are manifold now because of the society, the new age that we are in. There are, these children are faced with a whole lot of pressures, and so are the parents. I'm a working mother, So the whole day I used to be out, and then these children, whenever we meet, so there is hardly any patience left in the parent, and every conversation would end up into a fight or screaming. So I thought this was such an important topic. Every parent must be facing this, and this is my kind of maybe contribution to nation building. A happy child is a happy nation.
Lovely. It's because of people like you and us here, we all taken together, the country grows. Lovely. Dr. Shro, being from the royal family of Sarangi, you've seen death from close. You have lost your relatives, your parents, who all you loved in some stage of your career being passed away. Right? Fear would have been the factor, I'm very sure about it. And you have dealt about fear in this book particularly very well. So if you can kindly talk to us about the fear patterns, the foundational stage of children and parenting, how to address the fear patterns of children.
So my biography, which Renuji talked about, talks about some facts of my life. One of them being the most unfortunate fact that by the time I was in my early 20s, I had lost every responsible person that I had. My father, my mother, my bua, my chacha, my nani with who I grew up because my mother was not there, my closest relatives. So I had seen almost 8-9 deaths. At that time, there were two options really in front of me. Either I could swim or I would sink. Something somewhere taught me to swim. But if I had guidance from somewhere, I am certain my life would not be half as traumatic as it was. Of course, it prepared me to write a book about responsible parenting. We all start out with a lot of unexplained fears. I have turned the table of not being feared for death, rather to understand it. But that was my individual journey. Developmentally, because you know that psychology is developmental, you know that teaching is developmental. Everything is age related. Till the child goes to school, they have innumerable fears. Fear of darkness, fear of strangers, fear of failure, fear of heights, fear of wardrobes, fear of disappointing parents, fear of losing loved ones, fear of evil people, fear of world events. It is innumerable. If only teachers and parents understood and talked to them, we would have a wholesome personality without unexplained fears. If I ask you to close your eyes for 5 seconds and think about one unexplained fear that you carry as an adult, you know you carry fears. You all know that. And it started somewhere in childhood because somebody did not talk to us about it. That is the power of communication. That is the power of conversation by understanding that at this age, we need to talk about these fears. Whether the child is able to articulate, express himself or not. That is why this book. And again, if I may jump to the teenage question point that Renuji, Renuji, what really happens in teenage is Indian parenting, I'm a parent, Indian parent, is very authoritative, is very directional. That's how we've grown up, with authority and direction. We do the same. Now, at teenage, children are literally moving from childhood to adulthood. There is an explosive growth in psychology, psychological, social, emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, explosive, lateral growth happening. They are trying to find their own space as adults. At that point, it's like they're going opposite directions. Parents are being directional, they want autonomy. Every home is supposed to have clashes. If only we understood it. If only we understood that that is the time to talk to them as friends. Being dictatorial will not work. Anyways, it's not working. Try friendship.
Fantastic, fantastic. One of your early chapters says communication is amongst the earliest of sciences. Would you like to just give us a 1 minute brief on that, please?
You know, after the fire, friction fire, human beings learn to communicate in sign language. One of the oldest sciences is communication. Almost everything can be resolved through communication. At workplace, what do we do to find a resolution? We communicate. But we don't do that to the most precious things in our lives, our children. We do not communicate to them as adults. You know, the TA, everybody knows positive transactional analysis, right? Parent, child, child, parent, adult, adult. We need to talk to our children at all times as adults. Even if they are in primary school, respect them. Respect their viewpoint, respect their space. Do not go snooping in their cupboard. It is when you do not trust them that they do dangerous things that the internet teaches them. How many of you have heard about the black box challenge? You know what the challenge is? They're supposed to hang themselves with some household item, like a shoelace or a pipe or something, just to feel the adrenaline flow. Do you know how many kids have died because of that challenge? There's another one called Fire Fairy. Apparently, the game is this. In the middle of the night when everybody's sleeping, turn on the gas. In the morning, you'll become a fire fairy. A 5-year-old got severe burns. We need to understand that the internet is a real threat. We need to appreciate that peer pressure is so high that children will do dangerous things. And if we don't talk to them, if we don't give them a window to approach us with their worst fears, where will they go? Where will they go? It is us, educators. It is us, parents. We need to talk about the human being. Marx will come later. Marx had never made a career. It is the resilience. And I think the panel before us talked exactly that. Emotional resilience. Somewhere in my teenage, when I was dealing with death, I thank God for the fact that I had emotional resilience. I survived because of that.
Fantastic, fantastic. So we can take one more question, sir? All right. So to all the educators here, this is a fantastic read, right? So I kind of have a reading already. I've had a reading, but it definitely is going to take me a couple of more readings to get it full, right? So small QR code is available on your tabletops. It's available in Amazon, but then for the educators assembled here, and she's an educationalist, you're an educationalist, and we are a company working for the cause of education. So it's being provided without any cost, just a 50 rupees shipment charges. That's how you need to pay to get this book. So it's available both on Amazon and at this QR code. If you want to have a copy of this book, you'll come to your place, right? Thank you very much for this beautiful session. Kind words, please.
I take at least again, my daughter just turned 19, son is about to be 15. Of course, me and my wife have conversation about Prasad because he's 15, so last 2-3 years I see my wife dealing with him. My wife is with him. And I see how he negotiates with him. I said, gives in on some things, and luckily children they have normal issues that teens have, but they are very grounded, and luckily they have good habits. Comes from seeing the mom, seeing dad, and I just want to say, मंगलवार भी है, एक सुंदरकांड में है, दिन भर होए ना प्रीत, तो माँ बाप से थोड़ा बहुत डर तो लगना चाहिए. मुझसे थोड़ा कम लगता है, मेरी बीवी से बहुत डर लगता है. And as she says, and second is we live in the era of social media. The peer pressure is huge. You know, my friends have gone to this university. My son got into this. Or my friends, my friend comes in this car, so I'll only go to play tennis in this car. So my wife really said, not go by auto now. Go take an Uber, go by that. You will not even get a car. So I think being firm with children on the things that matter. But I think the most important thing is what they see you do. Second is the fact that you have to always, while you are disciplined them and be authority figures, you have to, because if they are not, then they will not listen to your direction for things that matter. You also have to listen to them. If you don't listen to them, and she talks about discipline, it is such an important thing. So I just want to say, I wish I read this book earlier.
So, Doctor, that's why
there's no chance of having a third child, so but I'll pass it on to my friends who have young children. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you very much.